Hello and welcome to episode 39 of Pacific Horseplayers right here on the HHH Racing Podcast. I am your host, Noah Meagher, joined by my good friend and co-host, Jackson Muniz, and we're waiting a couple minutes for Ryan Anderson to join us as well. And Jackson's already lagging already, so that's a great sign to get things kicked off. I think that's pretty indicative of what we've seen over the last 30 minutes or 45 minutes, because we're not in particularly the greatest of moods right now. We'll get to that in a bit of time, but hopefully we can get into better moods, because we're talking about a great sequence on Saturday. That is August 2nd. Talking about, of course, the late pick 5 at Del Mar, featuring a terrific Grade 1 race in the Grade 1 Clement Hirsch. So we're going to get into that pick 5 for you guys. Of course, before we do that, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Anchor. We've got our regular Power Picks tip sheet. You are not able to sign up for a Del Mar or a Saratoga tip sheets anymore, but you can still sign up for a regular Power Picks tip sheet. You get 2 full tracks on Saturdays, ABC grid, spot plays, additional plays, you name it. So go ahead and check those out, and then you can find out more about us on our website right there down below, hhhracingpodcast.com. And then the one thing I want to highlight is we've got a big episode of Weekend Warriors this Saturday, again, August 2nd. We've got a really nice day, maybe even better than the race we're going to be talking about at Del Mar. Big Whitney day from Saratoga, of course, Grade 1 Whitney. That's a great race. And then you got the return to Johannes and some other really nice races on that late pick 5 sequence as well. And if you want to find out more about that sequence, go check out the show right before us. That was at 5 Eastern on Thursday. We're filming this on Thursday night, so go check out that episode of Picks and Ponies, because Howard, Pete, and Paul discussed that terrific sequence with Anthony Stabile, I believe. So if you want his opinions and theirs, of course, go check that show out. Of course, they've got Saratoga, Del Mar in that show, and then they're actually able to show Monmouth and Woodbine, and they got much more. So go ahead and go check out that show. I don't exactly know what the time is, but I bet you if you ask Howard, he's got a better idea about that than I do. Jackson, shall we let the viewers know why we're not in such a great mood right now?
Yeah, go ahead, man. It's all you. I blame you.
I may take
it. To be fair, because there's a horse that was getting bet like she couldn't lose, and you told me she couldn't lose, and she lost, bro. It's crazy.
Well, I was hoping she wouldn't lose for several reasons, but she did the best she could and couldn't quite hold off a. What did the 14 end up going off at? Like 8 to 1,
something like that. Yeah.
So that 7-8 to 1 shot, unfortunately, was a single ticket in the late pick 5, which we were hoping would carry over into Friday. And I've already looked at Friday. Friday's pretty difficult, I think, as well. And Howard, thank you in the chat. He said the horse was 11 to 1. And according to what we heard from Ryan, I don't think that horse was necessarily playing 11 to 1 in some of the horizontals. But hats off to somebody who hit that. I know a lot of us were hoping that would have carried into Friday, which is a little selfish on our part. But again, whoever hit that single ticket, that's quite the feat. And congratulations to whoever did that. So hopefully, I don't know if it's going to happen on Saturday, but you can always hope that one of us is a single ticket holder on Saturday. So let's go ahead and get into that card. And hopefully Ryan, again, joins us here shortly. Let me get the Equibase up on the screen. You would think I would know how to do that after 39 shows. Race 7 starts the late pick 5. Begins at 5:03 Pacific time. It is a maiden special weight and everyone's favorite race. It's going 5 furlongs on the turf. Rails are at 12 feet on Saturday, and I'll scroll down so you can see the field. We've got 11 horses in the main body, and then we've got 3 also eligibles in the 12, 13, and 14. Morning line favorite is the number 4 Jackfish for Juan Hernandez, Jackson's favorite jockey on the West Coast, and Red Hot Peter Miller at 2 to 1. And then the second choice is the 8 Glorious Life for Kazushi Kimura, another fan of Jackson's, and Carla Gaines at 3 to 1. Let's get our picks up on the screen. Of course, you will see Ryan's picks, and hopefully he joins us in a minute, but we're all chalking out here. I'm going 4, 13, 12. Now, I know that's something I typically don't do and win against my morals here, but I'm going 4, 13, 12. Jackson's going 4, 3, 8, and Ryan's going 4, 3, 7. So Jackson, I think we got to start with the morning line favorite, Jackfish, who we've seen once, and boy, is he fast.
Yeah, he's very, very fast, and that's the key with these turf sprints, right? You go to the front and fight for a long race with Delmar, you're awfully dangerous, and this field really lacks a lot of speed, to be honest, for the horses that have run before. Outside of Knapp and Jack Fish, there's really no other speed in this race. Obviously, there's a couple of firsters that potentially could be quick. We know he's the fastest of the fast, at least going into this race, and he ran fine on debut over at Lowe, going probably a little bit further than he really wanted to. Also, it's probably just a prep because we all know Peter Miller just targets Delmar. That's what he does. Yeah. You see how well he started the day. He had another winner today that doesn't even reflect in those stats yet. So very, very hot start for the barn. He should be towards the front. They're going to have to catch him, and he's going to take a lot of money in this spot.
I think he is too. I typically in these turf sprints, I like to try to find a price in here, but I'm kind of with you, and I think Ryan would kind of echo the same. I mean, this 4 just looks ultra tough. I know he really gave it up last time. I mean, he looked like he was home and really got tired late, but that was 6.5. And like you said, Peter Miller he's not going to crank his horses first out to win a maiden special weight at going 6.5 at Lowe. No disrespect to the folks at Lowe, but Delmar's a premier meet. He's actually got a turf sib, I believe, that was a winner on turf. So there's a little turf pedigree, but mostly just the speed is his main weapon, of course. Let's go to some others. We'll go to the rival to his inside, and you and Ryan both have him in the mix. And, you might be surprised to see that I don't have him in the mix because he's ridden by my boy Armando Ayuso, who I think picked up 2 wins today, if I'm correct. But this is a first-time starter for Brian Corner, son of Smiling Tiger out of Candy Ride Mare. And Jackson, maybe you have some information about what you've seen in the mornings.
I haven't actually watched the works yet on this horse, but when it comes to Brian Corner, his horses are typically very quick, and he usually targets these turf sprints. And obviously, he sticks to one for a reason. Like someone sees something that they like, so I think this horse probably will show some gate speed out of there. And we had the luxury of watching the board in this first race of the Pick 5, so I think this is definitely the race you want to watch the board because he's a little interesting. I think the Baltus horse is interesting, who Brian has in the mix too. That seems to be working pretty quickly. So keep an eye on those two, see if they're taking money. And especially now that the CAWs are supposedly out of the win pool, like I think you'll see a lot more intention shown in the win pools as far as these firsters go, because it'll be the connections betting or people that know the connections that are making the larger bets early on.
Well, I think that's a great point, and he's certainly got a chance, right? I don't think it really does him any favors that he's drawn directly inside basically the fastest horse in the race. Yeah. By far. It would almost be to his benefit if he maybe weren't as fast and then maybe came with that late kick so he can kind of sit off the 4 and get the job done that way. Let's go to the horse that you've got in third. I'll go to that one first and then talk about some of the also eligibles who I've got in the mix. You've got Glorious Life. He's 5 years old at this point, but he's been off for a while. Was gelded way back in February. And this one actually seems to be working well as well.
Yeah, he's a little too obvious for me in this spot. I do have him in the mix, but his turf races are fine. I mean, his turf sprints were both good. He was third on debut to Mano Rose, who turned out to be really good. On the win was a good horse too. And then his most recent turf sprint, he had a lot of trouble in that race and ran okay. And the 2 races at Delmar were pretty good too. And those probably a little bit further than he wanted to go. It's just a matter of, do you want to take a 5-year-old still made in off the long layoff, first time gelding? And there's a lot of things you don't love about this horse. But this doesn't seem like it's the greatest field ever. I think if there's a horse coming from off the pace, he's probably the likeliest one. Again, I don't love the price on this a horse like this, but he does seem like he's kind of logical in here.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I feel like if you're maybe keying in on the 4, he would maybe be one to play against in terms of verticals, try to get a price
right
underneath something. But I think if you're against the 4 and maybe think that he's going to do what he did last time, just completely hit a wall on the stretch, I don't fault you at all to include the 8 and maybe some others on a Pick 5 ticket per se, especially if he's taking money, as we do get the benefit of looking at this race in terms of a board perspective. I'll talk about the 12 and the 13. The 12 Autos Magic I've got in – what do I have him in? I've got him in third. 8-1 on the line. It's his a D'Amato runner, son of Grazen. The Dam, I think he's got a sib that D'Amato actually trained and was very quick in her own right. And she's actually run as of recent, but she's very, very quick. Wishes to riches. So hopefully he's quick out of the blocks, and obviously he's been working at Delmar, so we're not able to see that, but it looks like he's been doing okay. He's got a 48.2, minute and 4 out of the gate, and then last time a bullet, best of 12 out of the gate, going a minute and 2/5. So I think maybe there's some speed there. And then Mom Says I always think OJ's horses that he brings over are really sneaky. This is a son of Sir Prancelot out of a Malibu Moon mare. So I think, bred top to bottom for dirt. Hector Barrios is actually scheduled to ride this horse, and I'm not exactly sure if he's on somebody in the main body, but I think with the way that he's riding, it doesn't look like he is, but the way that he's riding, especially on the turf, being parked out way at post 13, he's going to have to work out a trick. But I mean, I think if you want to trust anyone on this turf course, it's going to be Hector, right? And him hopping on this 3-year-old first-time starter, I think maybe could speak volumes for sure. So I've got those two in the mix. Again, I would probably just maybe single the 4 and try and move on. But if one of those two draws in, I'd be inclined to maybe use one of those two on the tickets. The only one that we've got in the mix is the 7, and Ryan, unfortunately, is still not here to talk about him. But Little Raymond, Jackson, maybe you have a comment about him. I thought this was a little preppy because his top and bottom side breeding-wise looks like distance. Obviously,
it's going to be preppy, but there's a lot of bullets in that work tab. I mean, that's 3 bullets for Baltus, who doesn't usually. When I think of bullets, I don't usually think of bullet workouts, but he's got several in there. It's obviously a lot of turf pedigree in there. And again, it isn't the greatest field in the entire world that we'll ever see at Del Mar. So I think the board will be the indicator in this horse too. I also thought the horses on the inside were a little interesting too. The 1 and 2, I know none of us have them anywhere, but the 1 had trouble both starts, has the rail this time, Maldonado. And then the 2, his 1 turf start was going a mile. I think he'd be a little forgiving of that. I don't think the turf is necessarily a problem. He's the other speed, arguably, of the field. He was very, very quick last summer. So if the 4 doesn't break or 2 can outbreak him somehow, he might be the one they have to catch. So there's a lot of directions to go here. I know we're chalking out, but this is an interesting race and definitely one I want to keep an eye on.
And before we move on to the next race, we're actually going to get some insight from Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson, I think he's joining us from somewhere among the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. What's going on, Ryan?
What's going on? Sorry for the delay here. I see we're all chalking out with the 4.
We are.
Was just going on a little walk around the track to calm my sorrows after we did not get a $500,000 carryover in the late pick 5. So yeah, but good sequence here today. Yeah, for Jackfish. I mean, in my notes, it's just Peter Miller seems to be unstoppable right now. Everything he's sending out. So a horse that has the talent that this horse showed on debut. I mean, I want to use this horse as a strong A in all my horizontals for sure.
Do you have any comment about one of the firsters or any of the firsters that you've got in the mix, either the 3 or the 7?
The 3 is a half to a horse that I like today, Boss Sully, who won the opening race. And then the 7 is just Sir Prancelots are very strong on this circuit with their first-time starters, whether it's Calbred or Open. They've really had a lot of success. Richard Baltus is able to pop with his first-time starters, but mainly what caught my eye was the strong work pattern this one has coming in, Lil Raymond, and you obviously attract a guy like Antonio Fresu that kind of tips the hat that this horse has some run in him. So I'll give this one a shot, but again, on my horizontals, my main ticket's going to have the 4 as a lone A.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement there. We can move on to the next race. I'm going 4, 13, 12. Jackson's going 4, 3, 8, and Ryan is going 4, 3, 7. The next race that we're going to be talking about is indeed race 8, and let me get that up on the screen here in just a second. There it is. His allowance optional claiming for 40,000, purse of 81,000, and they're going 6 furlongs on the main track. We've got a field of 7 in here, and the morning line favorite is all the way to the inside of the number 1 Southern Gentleman, the Florida bred, for David Van Dyke and Bob Baffert. And the second choice is all the way to the outside with the 7 Good With People, the Calbred, for Fresu and Glatt. Ryan's really laughing about something here. I'm not quite.
His name is not David.
It's Drayden.
Good job.
I said David?
You did say David. You're thinking of David Cohen, though, so I'll let it slide.
Okay.
You weren't.
At least that works. Let me get the picks up. Picks are right there. We're going in 3 different directions. I'm going 7-1-4. Jackson's going 2-1-6, and Ryan is going 6-5-1. Ryan's actually going with the other Glatt entry with the 6 Wayne the Brain, Kimura, and Glatt, of course, 8-1 on the line. What'd you like about this runner?
Yeah, Wayne the Brain. Last year, when he ran here in his second career start, he beat Miramati. We all know what Miramati's gone on to do. But this is a horse that's going to be coming from off of it. First time gelding coming in, so you kind of have that little bit of an unknown. Obviously, Mark Glatt's very strong with over 180-day layoffs. Comes in here. This race is loaded with pace. Kind of had a, it was either I was going to go with the closers I picked the 1 and 3rd just because I think if Drayden is very aggressive from the rail, I think he is able to maybe get out in the clear. But yeah, outside of that, I was all horses that were coming from off of it. I know why you went with Good With People. That's another very logical horse. I had that one in 4th, but I thought Wayne the Brain deserved a good look. Going to be closing. And hopefully KK has this one a little bit closer than it did last time.
Yeah, and that allowance race last summer at Del Mar, I thought was loaded. I mean, that's a hell of a race. Red Flag and Red Flag and Pilot Commander came back and won. Heart-Headed came back and won. I know he's a turf horse, but very good in his own right. Central Dispatch came back and won. Schwarzmeyer's a good horse on the turf. All That Glory and Wendelson are pretty decent allowance horses. So I thought that was a pretty loaded race that he's coming out of. I think the question is whether he's going to be ready off the layoff. And I guess that's kind of the question for my 7, but we'll talk about some others before we get to the 7. Jackson, I'll go to your top pick in the number 2, Grubauer. I want to get your thoughts on kind of the pace scenario where you think he's going to sit, because I kind of would have been all over the 1, maybe if the 3 wasn't in the race. So where do you kind of see the 2 in terms of the 1 and 3 being the main speed types?
I'm hoping he sits right behind him. That would be my best case scenario. He's capable of doing that. He's won twice from just off the pace. So I hope that's a trip he gets in here. And last time he did that and almost ran down Wound Up, who has been very good all year. He's 5 for 5. He hasn't lost all year long. That's a very good horse in good form. And, Positivity he finished ahead of is another horse in very good form. So interesting horse here. I don't think he's going to take a whole lot of money with the likes of the Baffer and then 2 Glatt horses on the outside. I think he drift up this 9-2 morning line. And his numbers are probably better than the 6 and the 7, or a little behind the 1. But, he's still a 4-year-old. He's still improving, basically paired up with Fire Top. So I think we could see an improved effort from this horse, just a matter of working out a trip from a tough inside post with those 2 speed horses, like you mentioned.
Yeah, and, we saw a lot of speed in the Bing Crosby last weekend, and it worked out for a horse in Lovesick Blues. And Alex Suarez wants to give props to Ryan for picking him out on the fan.
Shout out, Alex.
He's been doing those little segments on Twitter, so
picked him out here too. I had him second on this show.
That's right.
So I'm consistent among my shows and among my picks here. Thank you, Alex. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate Alex.
Alex should be hosting the show instead of me. I got to give more props to my co-hosts when they do stuff like that.
Quick note on Wound Up that you guys mentioned. He's been working on the turf his last 2 races, so he's going to show up somewhere. I'd imagine stakes competition, in the coming weeks.
Should have ran today.
Look at Ryan with the inside info.
Well, I just had to look him up because I was like, where is this horse? We haven't seen him yet.
No, we haven't. Yeah. No, that's a good point. Grubauer, you like Jackson? I'm in agreement. I don't really have anything wrong with him. Just maybe working out a trip with the 1 and the 3. Let's go to the 7, Good With People, who I've got in the mix, and I'll throw it to you guys to tell me why I'm wrong. But I wanted to go with some of the horses that were going to come from maybe out of it, like the 4 or the 6, who you like, Ryan. I just couldn't get myself to pick one of those 2, and I went with Good With People because I think he's going to get the best trip in the race. The 1 and the 3 can go. I think the 2's obviously going to be pretty quick. And I think Freysu can just kind of break and stalk from there, look to his left, and kind of assert the situation. Claimed for 40 way back in August, and obviously he's been off for over a year now. But if I'm going to trust anyone with this move, it's going to be Mark Glatt. You can see he's done well at the meet. He's done well first off the claim. He's done well off of really long layoffs. And if you look kind of at his form, a little dirtied up just with the Sunland races and just having so many layoff lines there. When he was running consistently back in fall of 23, I think his best race on the page is way back in October 9th, where I kind of see him sitting a similar trip, maybe a length or 2 off of a hot pace, making that move around the far turn and hopefully having enough down the lane. And I feel like if he's going to do it anywhere, it's going to be with Glatt and it's going to be at Del Mar. He's only missed the try once. So I just think there's a lot of intention and things could set up well with him just based off of, they claim for 40, but they waited all this time to bring it back, and he's protected and he's 3-1 on the line. I just think there are some green flags here, but maybe you guys can bring up some red flags.
Not really. Sorry. I didn't like the morning line. I thought it was a little too short. Definitely fits in here, though. Drew really nicely. He enjoys it here at Del Mar. 3 wins at 2 seconds and a third. So, he's pretty consistent over this track. I wonder what the price you're going to get. But, hey, definitely a logical contender. As I mentioned, I picked this one 4th.
I like it. Let's go to the inside runner, who is the morning line favorite, Southern Gentleman, who I think is definitely going to be amongst one of the shorter price favorites. I know we had the 4 at 2-1 on the line the last race. This horse is 2-1. I know there's a horse later that's even money on the line. I kind of feel like if you're supposed to beat one of the favorites in one of these races, it's probably supposed to be him. I know it's only a field of 7, but there are some quality horses in this race. I know he got a 98 last time, and that was a really good field. But, he just to be at that price, he's got to do it again. I'll throw it to you, Jackson. What are your thoughts on him in general?
The key to the race is the 3, because if the 3 is very, very fast, and if he goes with front like he's supposed to, it's going to mess it up for the 1, because the 3 is the fastest horse early on in the race.
Mm-hmm.
But we see it time and time again, where sometimes these horses aren't as aggressively ridden as they probably should be, and if that happens, then the 1's going. It just depends. You're going to know very, very quickly whether the 1 is the winner or not. And that race was good. I mean, obviously, the number came back really strong. That field came back really strong. Sierra Silver came back to win. I think Penalty Box came back to finish second. Cheever came back to finish second to Sierra Silver. I mean, there's some good horses coming out of there. Vasa won on opening day. Like, that was a live race. He did absolutely nothing wrong in there. It's just a matter of, can he escape the rail and how much pressure is he going to take early on?
One of my morals when I handicap these races, especially early in the meet, is I try to avoid the horses that draw the rail in these dirt sprints. And I feel like if I went with him, then I wouldn't be going with my morals, even though I went against my morals in the first race, going with 2 AEs in second and third.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that anymore.
Nuts.
Yeah,
That's
so
nuts.
maybe I need to give him a little more credit. Who else we got to talk about? We got to talk about Ryan's 5, and then I'll give a quick snippet about the 4. But 5, Awesome Rhythm. Just looking at the jockey, I love the pick. Ayuso, Victor Garcia, won at $40,000 claimer last time, and another one I think is going to be close in what looks to be a hot pace in here.
Yeah, you can't keep saying, "Oh, I love the jockey" when you don't bet him. He won on some prices today. You didn't bet him. I don't want to hear this. I love that guy. Bet him. Just bet him to win the entire card. Anyway, I digress. Last time out, Austin.
It'd be a different story if I was betting the whole card, but I only bet the last 2 races because somebody told me, actually multiple people told me that Hopeful was a lock, and that horse is awful. So
that horse was not great. But anyway, yeah, the number 5, Awesome Rhythm. I think this one has a shot for sure. Obviously, those 2 off-track efforts you got to question, but then came right back out last time at Los Alamitos and ran the exact kind of race that I wanted to see from him. Was off the pace a little bit, took over, and he used that long stretch to his advantage. Obviously, a little different scenario here, but he is going to get that pace set up going the 6 furlongs. Those fractions look pretty accurate to what they could run in a race like this, maybe even quicker. He's going to be one of those that just is going to be coming late. He should be in that second kind of flight where Jackson's 2 hopes to be as well. So just one that I thought was a logical horse.
I like it. And then Jackson, actually, I'm not going to throw it to you, but maybe you can talk about this horse. The 4, Firmus, I know he's a little bit of a wild card in here, and I was a little skeptical to take him at a short price just because based on the early time form, he could be last in this race. And I know the good thing with him is he won from off the pace on debut, and then just really hasn't done much since then, but has been off since November. Maybe might want a little bit longer as the time goes on. Maybe this is just a prep to maybe get a race into him and looking for something further down the line. I know he's been working with Barnes, I believe. I can't remember if that was on the 18th or the 26th, but I think one of them was with Barnes. So I've got him in 3rd. Pace heats up and falls apart. I think maybe he's a little bit interesting. I'd be a little, again, reluctant to bet him at anything less than 5-1. But if he drips up, I could certainly use him in the pick 5. Got any final thoughts, Jackson?
Not competitive race for a smaller field. Should be good.
It is. Let's move on to the next race. I'm going 7-1-4. Jackson's going 2-1-6. And Ryan's going 6-5-1. Next race that we're going to be talking about is a stakes race. It's not the main stakes race on the card, but it is a good one indeed. And it is the California Dreamin' Stakes. It is a $150,000 purse. We've got older males going 1.16 miles on the turf. Again, the rails are at 12 feet. I mentioned that when we were talking about the turf sprint. But again, note that the rails are at 12 feet. And we've got a pretty heavy morning line favorite, as I kind of alluded to earlier, in the number 9, Kings River Knight. Classy 7-year-old for Juan Hernandez and Sadler. And then the second choice goes to the 2 Allegato for Antonio Fresu and Mark Glatt. And then you can kind of split the third choices between the 5, Mr. Disrespectful, and the 7, Coalinga Road. Let's see who we're going with, if we are chalking out with the 9 or if we are going with any other runners. And we're actually...
Yeah, Jackson.
two of the guys are completely against the 9, which I love.
That's right.
I didn't have the balls to do that. I know there's some chat about balls in the chat, but we won't be talking about that. I'm going 7-9-5. Jackson's going 8-10-6, and Ryan's going 2-7-1. I'm going to throw it back to Jackson. You take a lot of threes back in your day. You're going with takes 3.
That's all I do. 3-D. Come on. You already know. I've been waiting to beat Kings River Knight for so long, and this finally feels like the right opportunity because he just always finds himself in races where he's on the turf and non-competitive races, he needs loan speed. He's on the turf, non-competitive race, he needs loan speed, and he just wins and he wins and he wins. He's finally in a turf race that looks competitive, and he's finally in a turf race that has a lot of speed. So he's got an outside post. I don't know how good he is necessarily still as he was like last year. So I just think this is the time to take him on. He's going to be overbet again, as he always is. So I don't need him at all. I'm going to pitch him. I could be wrong. Maybe he's just that good, that much better than everyone else. But I think he's worth trying to beat at a very short price in this spot. Obviously, Ryan feels the same way. No, you don't. So let me hear what you have to say about this horse.
Well, I'm kind of with you guys in the fact that this seems like a race to take him on because I feel like he's at his most vulnerable when he doesn't get the lead. And with the presence of the horse that actually got the lead in the dirt race, Mr. Disrespectful, the 5, I think things are going to make him tough. And I know there's also isn't there a speedy horse to his outside too? I can't remember if it's the 11.
The 10 and 11 are
the
both
10, the 11.
The 5 is quick, as you mentioned. Miss Joe's curling, stretching out. He gets lead sprinting. I mean, there's a lot. He's not making the front. If he makes the front in this race, I don't know what the other jockeys are doing. And he should not make the lead. No,
and I like the stance that you guys are taking. Just toss them completely. And like I said, I wish I had the guts to do that, but couldn't do that, unfortunately. In your analysis, you actually didn't mention anything about the 8, so I'm going to let you have that opportunity once again.
No, the issue I have with this race is I don't feel super strongly about anyone else. Like I just took all the closers. I took horses that are coming from off the pace. He's one of them. He's run well at Del Mar. He ran well against Kings River Knight 2 back when there was just absolutely no pace for him to run into, and he still ran okay to finish second that day. He's a 4-year-old, kind of still somewhat improving. Obviously, like I said, he likes Del Mar. He runs well down here. I think he might get the setup in this spot. He's going to be a big price. He's going to be running on late, and that's kind of the case for him and the other horses I'm going to be using too.
Yeah, and speaking of closers, Ryan's got another closer that he's got on top, and that's the number 2 Allegato, who he came from way out of it in the Turf Classic last time. That was way back in January. He's been a little bit more, maybe not tactical, but he's been a little closer to the lead in some of his prior races. Ryan, I think if he's going to win, he can't be as far back as he was last time.
No, I don't think so, and I don't think he will be. That last time, we've seen Pratt do this more than a couple times on the West Coast, redistricting, we all remember. Took him inexplicably far back. He'll do this. If he senses a lot of pace, he's a very smart jockey. I'm not talking shit on him. But he'll take them way out of the race, and he'll make that one run. He knows this course really well, with obviously the vast amounts of success, but he was way too far back that time. So closed into it well, only ended up missing the winner's circle by about a length and a half. I think he's going to be a little closer. Freysu obviously is booked to ride. Freysu likes to have a horse, in that kind of third flight when he has a deep closer like this. He is able to sense the pace really well. I imagine he's going to get the rail, if not easily, relatively easily from the 2 post. I also have the 1 in here, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But the 2 fits on figures. There's going to be a pace set up. There's plenty of pace in here. I had no issue tossing Kings River Knight. I'm very excited to beat him in this spot. And I'm going much deeper than just these 3. I like Jackson's 8 as well. I threw the 6 in there because Ayuso is going to have that horse positioned well. There's a ton of prices that I think could come in because everybody is going to bet Kings River Knight so heavily.
And another one that you've got in the mix is the 7 Coilinga Road. You've got him second. I've actually got him first. And, Jackson was saying, I got all the closers. I think this is the closer that he's missing. And Ryan, obviously, you kind of think the same because he doesn't have the 2 in the mix. So I think I'm with you. I think he's missing some closers, and one of them in the 7 Coilinga Road. So talk about him and why you like his chances closing from us.
Yeah, obviously, I don't love that 20 of his 35 races he has finished second or third, but he hasn't gotten a lot of pace in a lot of those races. And I'm hoping that he gets the pace to chase into today. He keeps drifting up in price. He still has good jockeys that are booked to ride him. Mirko De Muro has ridden great in all of his turf rides out here. Given he's maybe hit a little bit of a lull after that opening weekend, he really, put on a show of how he could ride with a price coming in and some really good rides saving ground. I anticipate the same thing here for Coalinga Road. I want him to save ground. I want him to come with that late run, and I think Saturday might be the day for this horse. He's been knocking on the door for so long. He's still talented. He still wants to run at the age of 8. I got to give him one more chance. He's going to be on my tickets. I'm not going to lose because I have a closer and he finally gets the job done, and it's this horse. This horse has been a pet, I think, for most of us that we've bet this Southern California circuit. But, hey, Saturday might be the day.
I think so, too. I think you made a lot of great points. I think maybe the best one you made, the one I agree with the most, is the fact that Mirko Demira, I feel like one of his most attentive things in terms of being a rider is saving ground, and that's just kind of the philosophy with those riders coming from overseas. And we've kind of seen that with some of his mounts. I know we saw that with the Euro that came over and ran second in the last race, and we were all there watching it from the rail. I mean, he was just super intent on saving ground all the way through. I know it didn't work out for him, but he gave him the best chance. And I feel like he's really going to give Coalinga Road a good chance in here. So, like you said, Ryan, some of his last couple of races, he hasn't gotten a lot of pace. And I think the other thing, too, is he hasn't been to Del Mar in a long time. I mean, go back to last year. He ran the same race, the California Dreaming, but did not get any setup in there. If you scratch that race, he's got 2 wins in 4 tries and a second as well. So I think if he's, kind of run back into form and obviously he's going to get some pace in here. And I think things are going to work out well for him. Just a matter of, whether he's good enough on Saturday. And that's what I'm hoping in a race where got a lot of closers and going to have to work out trips with all that speed, especially with some to the outside. So we're going to see on Saturday. Next horse we'll talk about is the 10, Pure Madness. I know you quickly touched on him, Jackson, but you've got him in the mix. Tyler Bays, who is on my naughty list at the moment, and Brian Corner. Speedy type, going to show some speed from the outside. What'd you like about this runner?
I wish his horse had a prep because I would single him. I think he's really good. He did absolutely nothing wrong last year. I mean, he was unchallenged in his 2 turf races. He didn't have greatest trips in either of them and won those very, very easily. I know they came against Lesser, but he was, he won by length on the turf going wide. It's pretty impressive. And he did that last summer. And then obviously he got the 92 buyer. He can run on dirt, he can run on turf, he can run without the Lasix. He chased home, Curlin's Chaos on the biggest rail bias of the year last year and finished second in the real good deal. So he's done absolutely nothing wrong in any of his starts. It's just, is he going to be ready off the bench? Because this is a tough ask from this post to run this well with how much speed is in there. So hopefully he's able to use his speed and get over a little bit, tuck in, a couple things off the pace, and we'll see what he's got. Obviously he's working well. They're really trying to get some fitness in him with that 46 workout. We'll see though. It's a tough ask. I'm definitely going to use him. I think he's arguably, I know he has the most upside of any horse in this field. It's just a matter of, is he going to be ready for this race?
No, I like it. And there's certainly upside. I mean, he's only run 4 times and he's found himself in the winner 3 times. So I like it. There's one comment that I want you to address, Jackson. And this is the one from Chris Pimentel. I just want to get your comment on that pro tip from Chris.
It works more often than not. It never works for me, but I'm sure it works for most people. So I'm going to continue to bet against JJ Hernandez. The times I do bet him, he's going to continue to lose, and that's how it's going to go when you're going against the top rider in the colony. So
yeah, and he's on the favorite here, so Jackson's against the favorite. So
favorite has no shot.
1 + 1 = 2. It seems like you should be hitting the favorite pretty hard. I've got the 5 1/3, 8-1 Mr. Disrespectful, who's only run once on the turf. And it seems like he's going to be on the lead. If none of the closers fire, I think he's going to be part of the mix. And then, Ryan, I'll throw it to you to finish things off with a 30-1 shot. What's the Lovesick Blues was more than that come post time. It actually went down to 18 after the gate. But that's something that was alleviated. And thanks to Delmar for doing that. It looked like it worked out super well today. But you've got this 30-1 shot in third and think you can get a piece of it.
Absolutely, I do. Look, Giovanni Franco has had a really nice start to the Del Mar meet. Nice, yeah. Drink to that. Absolutely. No, he's always had his horses in a really good position. He hasn't been on the best horses. There's no doubt about that. But aside from Lovesick Blues, all of his rides, including Lovesick Blues, but not just touching on that one, he's always had his horses in really good spots, whether it's turf or dirt. He drew really well here against the rail. This is a horse that has a nice late kick and likes to close into some fast paces. He's really only had 1 run over the surface, and that was way back in 23 in his 2-year-old season going 5 furlongs. So you can't really tell how he handles this, but He likes the mile. He's going to like this stretch out to the mile in a 16th here. He's going to save ground the whole way around. If the pace materializes, he might be in that second or third flight and be coming late. And I'm not going to leave this horse off my tickets. Giovanni has ridden excellent so far, and he owes me nothing for this meet. But I'm still going to continue to use him because, he's becoming my guy really quickly.
Gio owes you nothing, and Jackson is muted. He wanted to make a comment.
Oh, no, he's my guy, bro. My guy, Gio.
Yep.
We love Gio around here. We'll move on to the
we
next
do.
race. I'm going 7-9-5. Jackson's going 8-10-6, and Ryan is going 2-7-1. Next race that we're going to be talking about is the feature of the late pick 5. It is the Clement L. Hirsch. Let me get that up on the screen. There it is. Grade 1 Clement L. Hirsch Stakes presented by Oak Tree Racing Association. 6:32 local time. $400,000 purse for older fillies and mares going a mile and a 16th on the main track. And there's one kind of notable name in here, and that's the 7 Copian for Kimura and Mandela, who's actually not the morning line favorite. She's at 5-2. The morning line favorite goes to the inside, and the number 1 Seismic Beauty for Juan Hernandez and Bob Baffert. Let's see who we're going with in this grade 1 event. And I'm going 1-5-7. Jackson's going 7-1-5, and Ryan is going 7-6-4. I feel like even though you went last time, Jackson, just with all the hype that you've kind of been resurfacing over the last couple of days, especially within our 3-way group chat here, got to start it off with you with the number 7 Copian.
Copian? Yeah, she's good, man. She's really, really good. Look, this is a good race. I have no doubt this is the best distaff race we've seen all year. It's not even particularly close. I mean, Torpedo Anna would struggle to hit the board against this group based on her 2025 form. So this is the best race of the year. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what they do on Saturday. And Copian's the horse I want. She's been the best filly in the entire country this year. You look what she did in Santa Monica when she blew the doors off of 3 Baffert horses in that race, got the 110 buyer, time form backed it up. Went down to Churchill Downs on Derby Day, was stuck on the inside for 4.5 furlongs on the dead rail. Swung wide in the stretch and blew the doors off of that field too. And that was a really good field that day. Ryan's going to disagree with me saying it didn't matter because she was on the rail for not the most important part of the race, but she was on the rail for the majority of that race and still won that race easily and still got a 109 buyer. And again, the time form number backed it up. Those were 2 monster races. The great Lady M, I mean, she ran okay. I know she finished second and was beaten 1-5, but she lost to Sweet Azteca, who just obviously loves that track and loves South. She has a track record there. I think she said it again in that race. And Copian just got swung way too wide in there. And I don't think the target was that race. Like this was the target. They wanted to get to Delmar. They wanted to get to the grade 1 going 2 turns. So I can be a little forgiving of that effort. And, the other knock against her would be, well, if she hasn't done it around 2 turns, well, go back to her form as a 3-year-old, and her best number as a 3-year-old came going 2 turns. She was better going 2 turns than she was going 1 turn. I don't have any doubts that she's going to be able to handle the stretch out and distance. It's just a matter of, can she work out the right kind of trip in here? Is someone going to pressure the one who coming off a 105 buyer? Is she the one that's going to pressure the one? We're going to find out, but I think she's awfully good. I'm going to be having a very large future wager if I can on her to win the distaff before Saturday. So we'll see what happens, and I think she's the one to beat for sure.
Ryan, she is very, very good, and I don't think there's really any denying that. I think the big posing question is she really, really good going a route of ground?
We are certainly going to find out on Saturday. If she is 5-2, I'm happy to put my money on her. She has the strongest figures in here. I'm sure Jackson's going to laugh at this, but Omaha Beach does not scream 2 turns for me. But the breeding on the dam side is all 2 turns. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to say that she's not going to get it. She is so talented. She should absolutely get it. I'm with Jackson that last time out, although Kazushi did get taken to school by Sweet Azteca and Juan Hernandez, who I believe was aboard that day. I'm willing to forgive that effort, knowing that this was the goal, stretching out around 2 turns. He mentioned the Derby City Distaff. I won't get into that, even though, yes, she spent most of the race on the rail until the important running started, and then she got off the rail, but whatever. She could stretch out, and she could sit a really nice trip. I wonder how this race is going to play out early. I actually got a chance to interview Kazushi Kimura earlier today and ask him about kind of tactics and knowing that Seismic Beauty was going to be to the inside and going forward. And he said basically we're just going to kind of play the break, typical things that you would expect the jockey to say. He didn't give any crazy insight, but knowing that she's a very talented animal, he seems pretty confident in her ability come this weekend.
I like it. That's interesting because I know she's got she's got a 116 early time form. I know the 5's got about the same. Yeah, she's got a 118. And the horse that is presumably going to be on the lead is the 1 Seismic Beauty. Is there a chance that she kind of has her hand forced because the 5 is the second fastest horse in the race is Baffert, and I don't think the 5 is going to duel with the 1. So is there a chance that she's going to have to sit second if she wants any chance of kind of, beating the 1 in here? What do you guys think?
I don't think she's making the lead, if that's what you're asking. She's not making the lead in here.
No. And I don't think it necessarily matters. She's shown that she can sit off the hip of a horse and go right on by. She did that in Santa Monica. She's also shown that she can come from well off of it, like she did in the Derby City Distaff. Again, those races were around 1 turn, a little bit different. The Baffert tactics in here, I'm certainly curious about because Ricci has not won a race where she has not made the lead, and I don't believe Seismic Beauty has won a race where she has not made the lead. So you have 2 horses who very much need to go to the front, and that's where they're best at. I'm curious how this race is going to be ridden. I'd imagine Seismic Beauty is going to be out on the front end. Did anybody else think that 5-2 on Copian is reasonable because of the My Racehorse effect on Seismic Beauty here?
And I was just going to mention that you might,
and the no CAWs.
It's crazy to believe, but I think you might actually get that just because. Well, I think maybe you'll get closer to that than maybe what you should, just because the 1 is My Racehorse, and I'm quite upset that the ownership here is My Racehorse because I like Seismic Beauty a lot. The way I see this race is just very merry-go-roundish, and I feel like if Copian wants a chance to win, she's going to have to be pretty close because I don't have any reason to believe that the 5 is going to be going and pressuring the 1. I mean, she'll probably just sit off, but I think Seismic Beauty could kind of get things her own way here, and she fired really big 2 back, and boy, she was good in the Santa Margarita, and Splendora came back and won. She's got a 7 furlong work on July 25th, which Baffert doesn't do often, but when he does, it seems like it's with intention, and the horses seem to run very well after that happens. I just think if she gets any kind of break on top, I think she's going to be really, really tough. I know, Jackson, you've got her in second, so maybe you think that is a possible scenario in this race.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be one or the other in here. I think either the 1 gets an easy lead and wires them, or the 7 is just the best horse in the race and it doesn't matter. I'd kind of be surprised if it's anything other than that. Richie's good. The 2 foreign horses, or Saba horse, I don't know what you're supposed to do with because she obviously was good overseas, but she found, like I said, she finds herself in the toughest distaff race of the entire year. So we'll see what she's able to do off the bench, and it's a fun race, man. Even the 2, even Royal Spa might be best coming from off of it. So yeah, but Baffert and Copian go a little too crazy on the front end, and why can't she come running late too? So it's a good race.
Yeah, and I don't think Royal Spa is impossible just because, like you said, she's got that versatility. She came from way off of it in the Shawnee, and then last time I think they were just kind of forced to play those tactics just because they were trying to beat Anna. And
she was drawn inside of her too.
She was drawn inside. It was only a field of 5, and I feel like on that day that was the way that you were going to beat her, and unfortunately that didn't happen. But maybe they'll resort to those tactics from coming off of the pace. Ryan, you've got this horse in second, Little Hidden Port, the Argentinian bred, who honestly, come to these shows prepared as a host. I have no idea what this horse is capable of. I know she's got 2 big wins in her last 2 races going a mile and a quarter, but maybe you have something a little more insightful for the viewers.
I mean, I watched the race on December 19th in the Group 2. I don't know how much that matters. I just think this horse is a little bit interesting. I get those kind of full Serrano vibes from John Sadler and that ownership last year. They've brought over these horses before, and they have been runners. Obviously, this one has been here for a while, has a really nice steady series of drills. A lot of those coming at 5 furlongs, just kind of getting that foundation back into her. This is one that I think is interesting. She's obviously a wild card. I'm pretty against Seismic Beauty in here. No strong reason as to why. I just think she's had a lot her own way. And I don't think that they're going to, whether it's the 2 Royal Spa, who I think is best from off of it, but maybe showed a bit of a new dimension last time, being up towards the front and just being beaten by a better horse, or whether it's a horse like the 5 and Ricci, who maybe decides to take the lead. They're probably just going to play the break like they typically do, and just see kind of who gets out there. to start things off. But either way, I don't know. I don't want to take either of those two Bafferts. I feel like they both need the lead types, and if either of them gets headed early, that's going to compromise them. Obviously, I don't think they're going to get in each other's way, but I want to give a shot to the 6, and then I see you scroll to the 4, who is a Baffert horse that I thought was interesting simply because she can pass horses. So in the event that this thing does kind of come apart late, she's able to kind of set a bit of a tactical trip. I know she's, certainly the other Baffert. But one I thought deserved a look. Again, I'm kind of against the two main speeds in here. These mile and a 16th races, if you remember, back to last year, the winner came from Off the Pace. The name of the Baffert horse blanking on me. But that was a bit of a jockey's tactic race. But I just want to get a little creative here. My top pick is obviously the 7. But underneath, I wanted to use some horses that can pick up some pieces late.
No, and to be quite honest, Jackson, go ahead.
No, I just disagree with a little bit with Ryan. Richie can win from off of it. She's done it before. She did in their sprint race. She sat behind the horses and still won. Yeah. So I don't think that's necessarily the issue.
That's fair.
And then to answer Howard's question, the distaff winner probably comes out of this race. I mean, there's just nothing on the East Coast for the.
I'd say if the distaff winner doesn't come from this race, she comes from out of the country.
You know where I'm
like that guy. I don't know if Awesome Result is still running, but obviously that was a horse that we were really looking for. Okay. Is that your international horse that you're waiting for? Or is it a different name?
Supposedly she's coming back better than she was last year. I know she didn't get really a chance to strut her stuff last year, but supposedly she's doing really well and she's supposed to be better. And then there's also a Nadal filly, a 3-year-old. I can't remember. It's Nadal. Promise something. I can't. The name always passes me, but somebody should hook me up with that little future bet line. Maybe I can make a quick call and maybe bet one of those two. Because this distaff division is just god awful. I'm sorry to say. I was gonna talk about the 4 because speaking of god awful, I thought this 4 had no chance, but Ryan likes her, and Ryan, had lovesick blues last weekend, so I feel like I shouldn't question him when it comes to grade 1 races on the main track.
I'll be using the 4 and the 6, and man, you guys just brace yourself if one of those horses somehow gets to the winner's circle. I don't have high hopes on him at all. I think Copian dusts this entire field. To be completely honest, I don't think any of the Bafferts are anything crazy, and I think Copian is special for sure.
This guy just likes to waste my time in the group chat. All week he's been saying, I've been trying to tell him Copian. He's been saying no. And
you've been saying she's the distaff winner. I disagree with that.
This field, she's really, really special. Just completely.
I don't think she's the distaff winner, but I think she's better than this group. This group is a bunch of horses that
all year. This is the best group all year.
It is. This is the best. This is. I still think
Torpedo Anna is clearly the best horse on the East Coast. Her top flyer this year in 4 races is 96. She is the fourth fastest horse on this race, and it's not particularly close.
I agree, but what I'm saying about Copian, I don't feel like it's much. She's faced so much better horses sprinting than she's facing here going long. Like the sprint division is wildly competitive. And I get that it's doing 2 different things. So I think Copian can roll versus this field. I don't think that that's necessarily going to be the case come Breeders' Cup season because you're going to have some big international players, and that's kind of where I would look towards as well. I'm more on the Awesome Result. I don't know the horse that you're talking about, but maybe I got to do more research on that one.
Yeah, you gotta do your research for the Japanese, my friend. Let's move on to the last race. I'll get that up on the screen. There it is, race 11. Closes out the late pick 5 on Saturday, 7:00 on the West Coast, and it ends with a state bred allowance optional claiming for $20,000. Nice purse of $81,000 for this affair, and they're going 1 mile on the turf. The main body is right there. We've got 12 horses, I believe, and 1 also eligible in the 13 Brazenly. And the morning line favorite goes to the number 9 Mining District for Hector Barrios and Dougie Fresh himself at 7-2. And then the second choice goes all the way to the outside in the 12 Miles Finch for Juan Hernandez and John Sadler. Let's see who we are going with to close things out. I'm going 10-6-9. Jackson's going 1-6-2. And Ryan is going 10-5-4. I think it's a good thing to have the same top pick as Ryan. And even though it didn't work out in the finale last Saturday, I'm still going with my main man, Ryan. He's going with Uncle Chili, Kimura, Pipey at 5-1. Ryan, let's get things home on Saturday.
Yeah, the name doesn't fit us because we've been nothing but on fire, whether it's, the power picks and tip sheet and everything at Del Mar. Everything's firing on all cylinders. So, no, I think Uncle Chili makes a lot of sense. Mike Pipey's due to get rolling here at any point. He obviously aims for this meet, as do the ownership group, Slugo Racing. This combination has been really good together up at Santa Anita. They're finally stretching this horse out. This horse should really enjoy the 2-turn turf distance. I want to give this one a shot. I think the price is very fair and could get overlooked in this field. Last thing I want to mention is I might have overlooked the number 9 Mining District because he does have a fair bit of turf breeding. I have him 4th, but I might want to upgrade him a little later. But 10 is still absolutely my top pick in here. Those Smiling Tigers can run on anything, and I think he's going to handle the turf no problem on Saturday.
Yeah, I think there's no question he's going to handle the turf. I think maybe the main question for some others would be the stretch out, and you can see even in his dirt races he didn't do it. But I think he's going to appreciate the stretch out just kind of watching his races, especially the ones where he ran big. I know that 85 with the 108 time for him, I think is certainly good enough to beat this field in here. I know the 9's got some numbers that match that, but that's on a different surface. That's on the main track. So I think if these horses run their A game, I think Uncle Chili's got as good a shot as anyone. Jackson, let's go to the inside rival.
I want to ask you guys about the 10. Does it, you kind of brought it up a little bit, Noah. Does it consider you guys that this isn't like a horse that's run 3 times they haven't stretched him out? He's run 11 times. They've had many chances to get him going 2 turns. And does it bother you guys that they took all but his 12th start to stretch him out? Like, that's a bad sign, I think.
I just think they don't want to run him at 5 furlongs is probably the quick answer.
So the last 2 evils.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I feel like his run style maybe looks like he would appreciate the stretch out, and they haven't done it yet, and he's kind of been knocking at the door. So maybe, it's just kind of the logical next attempt here. Maybe it wakes him up though, but that's a very fair question. And I agree with a lot of what Noah just said, where 5 furlongs is way too sharp. So probably the lesser of 2 evils. Yeah.
Well, the horse I know for sure should appreciate the mile and maybe even a little bit longer, just based off of what I've seen from him, is the horse that you've got on top, Jackson, the one Winning Patriot, 4-year-old son of Ohm. He's had 2 starts in his career, 2nd on debut, and got the job done last time. And you're hoping for improvement. And a key angle that we've keyed in on. I know you like this one for sure, and I'll let you mention it.
Is it the buyer top thing?
Well, I mean, you've got him on top, and I think that's
I agree with Tom in the chat. I thought this was an impossible race. I mean, I've gone through every single horse, and I found a bunch of knocks and a couple things to like, but mostly a lot of knocks, and I just didn't want to settle on too short of a price in here. And he feels like the one that, has the upside, has a good post, has the speed, because there's a lot of speed, but the closers in here just didn't do a whole lot for me. So I wanted Winning Patriot. I thought last time maybe a little bit better than it looked. They rode him like he was the best horse in the race. I mean, they just were like, we're going to get him to the front. We're going to park him 3 wide on the turns, and because we know we have the best horse. And it worked out. He did hang on by a nose, but they were maybe a little overconfident in his abilities there. So I do think the margin maybe could have been a little bit longer than it looks on paper. But he definitely needs a step up in here. Needs a step up, but he has the inside post. He can pass horses. He can sit the pocket. I think he'll be okay doing that. Just a matter of, is he able to take that step forward? It's only his 3rd career start. It's working awfully well. Paired at buyer tops, like Noah mentioned. So I think there's things I like, and he's going to be somewhat of a price in this wide open spot. So give me him on top, and we'll hope for the best. Yeah,
the thing I always say is I think it's a huge advantage to have tactical speed, especially on the inside in these turf races. And there's been some horses that I've actually liked, and they've kind of had that factor to them and had that weapon, and they've done really well. Ryan?
I was just going to say a couple points on Winning Patriot. One is a joke. 2 back, lost to the California Dreamin' winner. So obviously that's going to flatter the form. But the next point was, I've been going to the morning workouts at Del Mar, and obviously I don't know a horse from a donkey for the most part. But there were a couple horses that were a little bit like caught my eye, I guess would be the best way to put it. I think Winning Patriot was one of them in that 4 furlong 46 drill. Because wearing the Carla Gaines saddle towel and was absolutely flying down the lane. So I'm curious. It was definitely a chestnut as well. So if that was the work that I think it was, that last work was fantastic. So you go ahead and drink to that. And this is one that I certainly had and will include on my tickets too. So I like the pick, Jackson.
Thanks. One question for you, Ryan. So you don't know a horse from donkey, but they are having you do the Fast Turned Out award this week. Explain that to me.
I don't know how that happened. I have no idea. It was just like, it was one of those things that was like, hey, we need somebody to do it. Why doesn't Ryan do it? And I was like, yeah, sure. So, I'm just going to really hope that someone sends out a horse looking like a copper penny, like a new copper penny every single race. And we're going to do our best. No, I'm going to shadow TQ tomorrow and just ask him what he, really looks at. I'm going to just only look at, I don't know, man. It's gonna be an interesting best turned out award this weekend. I'm going to do my absolute best, though. Gonna do some research, gonna do some homework on what to look for, but it'll be fun.
Ryan's just gonna pick this like shitty maiden that's just like super wonky and pathetic. Yeah, let's give them.
That's my worst fear. That's my worst fear. No, I'll my luck. I'll actually pick a horse that looks good, and they'll show it on camera, and I'll take a shit. So. Not that that's bad, but that's probably what's going to happen.
That's been a great sign for me and Jackson recently. Anyway, let's move on to another horse. I want to keep it with you, Jackson, because you've got the 6th and 2nd, and that's actually the runner that I've also gotten 2nd. Another Carla Gaines runner. Freysu is on this one. We haven't seen him in quite a while. He's been off since December, but in a nice race. Lost the Clock Tower. Scipio came back and won. And it was just in some really nice races, and I'm just hoping for a step up from 2 to 3.
Yeah, that's the hope with this horse too. And he's another one that you have to hope he's ready off the bench, because this could just be a prep or something later in the meet, potentially. But he does have the upside in here. Ran really well in that race at Santa Anita last fall. He beat Colin Jane. It's a cinch. Both came back and won, and those are decent calibreds that he beat that day. He beat him pretty easily too, and did it from off the pace. The race 2 back, he was just way too far back. 5 furlongs was too sharp. So that's probably why he's here and not in a sprint race again, because the big question I have for him is, does he really want to go a mile too? Because the mile race, it wasn't like he got a bad trip in there. Like, he got the pocket. There wasn't a fast pace, and he was outkicked pretty easily late. And I know those came against better horses, but I would have liked to see him stay on a little bit longer. I guess maybe something could have gone wrong because he did go to the bench for so long. He hasn't been seen since. But again, I think when you're talking about an 8-to-1 shot, there are enough things to like that you're willing to overlook those and hope he can, run a big race.
Yeah, it's embedded in the price, right? But I think there are some things to like in some good races. Like you said, the maiden race when he got on the turf for first time was good. Gets Lasix for the first time, which is not going to hurt as well. So I definitely think there are some things to like. Let's go to the horse that's to his inside, Kanani. How about talk about hot, Labrado Barocchio, who Ryan likes to call him Labracio, I believe.
Yeah,
he's had 2 winners, and he's been at full force. One of them, Lovesick Blues. The other was Hello Kiddo, if I remember that correctly. Yes, Ryan.
That's right.
He's been off since May, which is not that long, but seems to be working well. And you got him, Ryan. He's looking at a nice, juicy 12-1.
Yeah, bit of a interesting horse, I guess. That I think just the time off might do him some good. It looked like he was just kind of in a bit of a rut with himself those last couple races. They just didn't really know what to do with him. They tried him on the lead, and he didn't have enough to last. They got him from off the pace, and he sat a good trip, but didn't have anything to close into. But the races were pretty strong. The numbers came back relatively strong for the level, and I think this one, I think he's going to sit a better trip. I think there's not a ton of speed, but there is some. And to Jackson's point a little bit earlier, I'm not in love with any of the really deep closers. I want someone that's going to be in that mid pack, maybe second flight trip. I think Kanani's going to sit a very similar trip to that. Kyle Frey is my guy. He's my nightcap get out. His one win was the ticket I cashed the pick 5 on. So I'm going to make sure to see him before the race, walk him over to the horse, and maybe even give him a leg up. Who knows?
How many guys do you have?
How many? I got a lot of guys. It's Del Mar, man. This is my place. Got a lot of guys.
Ryan's kind of the guy.
But
right.
I don't know how else to describe it. He's just kind of the guy.
Ryan knows everyone. I can't even walk around Del Mar with this guy because he has to stop and talk to every other person he sees. Oh, Ryan, how's it going, Ryan? Who do you like? Hey, how's your day going, Ryan?
Hey, man, just be friendly,
Ryan's got the 4 and 3rd Cardiff Crack, another 12-1 shot. Jackson, you've got the 2 Prince of Del Mar, which I definitely know you're not from your picks the last couple of weeks. You've got him in 3rd. And then I've got the 9 and 3rd, who's the morning line favorite, Mining District. I want to hear from you guys. Do you guys really just not like this horse? Because I think he's going to be sitting a beautiful trip. I know our good buddy Shane would not approve.
Okay, I'll go.
You'll go.
No, let Sicky go.
this was a really wide open race. I didn't want the favorite, especially when the favorite, his two worst races were on the grass. I mean, they weren't even close. He wasn't competitive at all in those spots. So when you're talking about a horse that can be short price, I think you're looking for reasons to try to beat him. He's got an outside post. He's speedy, and that's not usually a winning formula on the grass for an outside speed horse. And again, his turf races aren't great. So there's definitely things I like. I mean, if he translates his most recent form to the grass, yeah, he's going to be very, very tough. But I don't want to rely on that on a short price.
Well, also his 2 turf races were his first and second start of his career.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I feel like they're going into the first turn, and Hector's going to find himself on the rail, and we're just going to be, oh shit, this horse is a winner.
Well, sometimes you don't want to be on the rail at Delmar. Sometimes you want to be like 3 or 4 wide grass.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Just kidding. You want to be on the rail at all times. Be on the rail. Rail is good. Get to the rail, Hector.
That was fantastic. No, I agree. I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, maybe I overlooked this horse because of the breeding. I'll excuse the earlier turf efforts. But it's kind of that old saying of I don't want to take a short price on a horse doing something for the first time. And for this one, for this one, it's the first time in a while. Yes, if he transfers that form over, he's going to be a big threat in here. He'll be forward. Maybe in that second flight, might even find himself on the lead. But this is not one that I necessarily want to take at what's going to be a short price. I think 7-2 is fair. I'll be using him in my horizontals, but as far as win bets go, I'm with Jackson. I'm trying to beat the favorite in this spot.
Yeah, Alex said Ayo. Alex, I think you're missing a U and a S there, my guy. You don't quite have that spelled right. Let's move to best bets and let me get that off the screen and get that one on the screen. Ryan's going with a pick 3. I'm not sure why.
That was close.
I'm not sure why I put
close.
Pick 4 on there.
Wow, man!
But he's going with a pick 3. I'm just going to let you talk, Ryan.
All right, yeah, I'll go 1-5-6 in the first leg here. I think that's correct. Yeah, 1-5-6. Yeah, the 1 is Southern Gentleman. That's nothing creative, and then 5-6 are off the pace types that I hope can get home. In the next leg, I'm going to go 2-7. The 2 is a horse we talked to, Allegato, and the 7, of course, is Coalinga Road, who I believe can finally get the job done. And the 7 is Copian, who I do think is going to be a very clear second choice in there. I think you might get 5 to. I think 5-2 is pretty reasonable. I think 2-1 might be a little short because of the my racehorse money. But in horizontals, you'll probably get around 2-1. But as long as the 1 doesn't win the first leg, maybe I just toss the 1. Maybe I just go 5-6 with 2-7 with 7. But either way, I like this pick 3, and I'll be able to press some stuff up along the way.
Either way, whoever you use, I think it's a great way to get a little more value on your main opinion, Copian. Obviously, Jackson's main opinion is Copian. But he just ain't screw it. I don't like the races before. I'm just playing a massive win bet, and I'm going to get out for the day.
I thought the other 4 races were absolutely impossible. I mean, I really did. I didn't feel that strongly about any of them, so I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. Bringing a bunch of people on Saturday to the track, so I'm going to do my little $5 win bets until then and just drop the hammer on Copian. I'm going to have a huge win bet on her. I think she's the best in the country. She's very, very, very good. Just has to stretch out back to 2 turns again as she did as a 3-year-old. That's the only question mark I have for to bigger and better things later this year.
Tell all your friends, let's put 20 for like a group pick 6 ticket, and let's single Copian and just aim for the stars.
And just take down the carryover?
Yeah, let's do it.
Move over CAWs. Jackson will be the CAW.
Move over CAWs. It's us.
Jackson will be the CAW with his win bet on Copian in race 10 on Saturday. I'm going with a double, and it actually starts in a race that we didn't talk about.
This guy broke every single made in this show. I don't understand.
This guy stinks.
I would say that, except I've heard a lot of good things, especially from you, Ryan, from this Bafford runner in race 6, and that is the number 6 Mistrial, who is my racehorse as well. Which
mispronunciation.
He's going to take a lot of money regardless.
Mistrial. He said Mistrial. Oh what is happening?
In college? What are they teaching
what
you?
What is happening?
When Larry Coleman
is he a writer? Isn't this guy a writer?
When Larry Coleman
holy shit,
I'm going to clown you guys so hard. But anyway, she looks like the winner in that race before, and she looks like she could be the goods. And then I'm going to pair her into a double with the 4 Jack Fish, who about 10 steps out of the gate, I think, is probably going to be the winner in that race because the rest of that group is not very good. And I think Jack Fish is not super good, but I think he's all right. So playing a little
This
double
just
there.
in, Noah plays a 1-to-1 double. Congrats on your even money return.
Hey, you gave out for middle man at 1-2. I don't know.
I did give out for middle man.
Mistrial.
He said, yeah, Jackson's still on that. That's insane.
Whatever. We're gonna.
This show fell apart. This show fell apart.
It's gone off the rails real quickly. So we're gonna wrap things up here. I got the final banner on the screen. On the bottom of the screen scrolling, you can see our weekly schedule. We've got Wednesday nights betting and booze at 8 p.m. Eastern. We've got picks and ponies Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then we've got this show Thursdays, which we moved from Tuesdays to Thursdays for the Delmar Summer Meet at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you check all of those out throughout the week and, of course, throughout the rest of the summer. But that's going to do it for us, for my wonderful co-host Jackson Muniz and the late Ryan Anderson. This has been your host.
Late? I'm alive. What? I'm not dead.
I said late, not elate.
You can't say it like that, bro. You can't say it like that.
No, you can't say it like that.
Whatever.
Elate means I'm happy. What? Oh my God! End the this guy's.
Whatever. He was late. We're gonna end it on that. This is an episode 39 of Pacific Horseplayers. Jackson's ready to salute us out. PHP is out of here.